a little drop-down menu where you can select a list of tokens. Depending on what your top token is, that's what the bottom token list will be generated for. So you don't have to know any contract addresses, none of that, not throughout any of the dApps so far. It's all just based off of the names. So for instance, say you wanted to sell your Surge Bitcoin. What you would do is you would put Surge Bitcoin on top, and when you click on the bottom list, a list of different tokens will present itself. These are all of the tokens that you can swap Surge Bitcoin for. There will be Surge Useless, Surge ADA, XUSD, BNB, and Bitcoin. So if you click just vanilla Bitcoin, just normal BTC Bitcoin at the bottom, that will be your standard sell function where you sell Surge Bitcoin and you get Bitcoin back. If you put something like BNB at the bottom, it does things a little differently. It will actually initiate a transfer on PancakeSwap. And instead of paying the full 6% fee, it's going to swap through XUSD through the XUSD Bitcoin pool and the XUSD BNB pool. So, depending on the prices of these different pools, you might just get a much better opportunity. And likewise, for the other Surge tokens, it works kind of the same way, where it trades between XUSD as an intermediary when it goes into Surge Useless or Surge ADA or XUSD, but obviously no intermediary for XUSD when you transfer into it. That's just a direct trade. So the reason why you might want to trade instead of just selling or just buying, instead of just sending BNB to the contract, it might be more optimal to buy XUSD and then buy with XUSD, just depending on what the prices are. And you might just get better incentives playing it in different ways. And that's a fun thing to watch, especially for people that like day trading and like doing arbitrage. And that's kind of been a favorite of the Surge servers lately since we really started nailing home this crypto volatility thing. So that's the gist of the swap page. You're going to want to select the top token first, then select the bottom token, and then enter in your amounts. And the bottom token's amount, you won't be able to edit. You have to edit the top token's amount. The main thing I want to drive home to about the swap page is if you look at the bottom, if you scroll down a little bit on mobile, or you just look right below it if you're on desktop, you're going to see a few fields. There's going to be price impact, estimated fees, and what we called external prices. So the price impact, I think you guys seen before. It's the percentage loss when you make a trade based on the size of the liquidity pool. So if there's $1,000 in liquidity and you're trying to make a $1,000 trade, that's going to get high price impact. Whereas if there's hundreds of thousands in liquidity, that price impact will be much, much lower. It won't have that big of an effect on the trade and how well the trade executes. So lower price impact values, the better. That's just one thing to get out of the way. And an important distinction too is selling or buying or staking XUSD through the contract always has zero price impact. If there's ever a bug where it shows greater than zero, it's zero, because it doesn't make a trade on PancakeSwap. There's no price impact to swap to buy or sell Surge tokens from the contract. The other things I really wanted to point out are the estimated fees. This is going to, for you, add up all of the fees that you're going to incur on this swap. So instead of you having to remember what's the buy fee for this, the transfer fee for that, the sell fee for this, the stake fee for that, no matter what you put in at the top and the bottom, it's going to tell you what the overall fee should be. So you should deduct that from what the output amount says it will be to get your ideal amount. The reason why the output amount, the amount that pops up on bottom, doesn't take this fee into consideration is to show the different arbitrage opportunities. Because at the bottom of the page, you have your external prices. And what those tell you are the price of the assets in US dollars and compared to each other when valued in US dollars. So that might be a little confusing, but basically, let's say you're on the trader and you're trying to trade 500 XUSD for 1 BNB, because that's around the price. 500 XUSD is actually a little more than 1 BNB right now. Yeah, it's about 480. So yeah, 480 XUSD for a BNB. Let's say you type in 480 and it says it's going to give you 1.2 BNB. you can be like, is that right? And you can look at the external prices, and you can see that 480 BNB, 480 XUSD should be 1 BNB, and that's an indication right there that there's an arbitrage opportunity and that the swap you're making right now is actually valuable. But if you're going the other way, you would be losing money. So that external prices thing is a really good thing to look at if you trade often, because it'll tell you if your swap is a good swap, relatively speaking, not just in that liquidity pool, but just generally all throughout. Okay, so I've just ranted for a while. I'll slow down and pass the floor on to someone else, but those are the major updates to this V2.
I do believe you wanted Malord to say something, didn't you, at the beginning?
I did. My lord, are we live? Are you there?
You're muted if you don't know.
Oh no, I see him. He's talking in Discord.
It's not live yet. It's still pushing through. It's still pending. But we do have an announcement ready to go for this, guys. Just letting you know. It's got a slight bit of education for those that want to migrate over from V1 on the farm to V2. It's got a step-by-step rundown on what you need to do. As long as some varying note factors. A lot of people are probably wondering if you've claimed your rewards. If you haven't claimed your rewards yet, is there potential for loss in those rewards? No. It's going to automatically claim those rewards for you and carry them over to the V2 farm whenever you decide to migrate.
No, it's actually gonna just send that. It's gonna claim them for you. So whenever you pair or remove liquidity, it automatically claims those rewards for you. So it's no different from if you just unstaked normally. Any pending rewards you have will be given to you. You never have to call claim if you don't want to. If you enter the farm and then exit, you'll get all your rewards on exit because they stack up for you. But yeah, they don't get transferred to the new farm. They just get claimed into your wallet. Just wanted to make that distinction.
Copy that. Yeah. So, and we'll have some educational stuff out there too. Right now, on the educational section of the webpage, we do have the V1 dAPP version still posted. I've still got to make some changes to to accommodate all the additional features that are going to be brought on with the V2 version of the dAPP. And I'll try to get that done tonight, and hopefully we can get pushed out within the next few days. But yeah, we're really excited for this. There's a ton of new features in this thing, and I think the user layout is very simple. It's going to be very easy to use. You'll love the monitoring page especially. And we've got some new things coming in the works too. This thing is scalable, so they'll be posting updates and bug fixes or anything else onto the app, and you'll actually see them when you first log into the app. You're going to see the updates that we've made post right in front of your face. Whenever you first log into the dAPP, it's going to have a little bug fix window so that you can see exactly what updates have been made since then. And we always request any feedback. We always say that the worst feedback is no feedback. If you have any feedback whatsoever, whether that be technical fixes, maybe improvements, some cosmetic changes, post it up in Discord under the dAPP feedback section. That automatically relays to the leadership server, to the dAPP team, and they'll get those upgraded right away.
Yeah, thanks, Blue, for that. Yeah, definitely. Always open for feedback on all of this. Malord should be hopping in a second. I just told him to come up. But yeah, we're really excited for this. It should be launching within the next 5 or 10 minutes, assuming everything goes well with this push. It has been pushed up to the development server, and we were able to run through a bunch of testing on it, and everything worked well. There are two things that two quality of life things. Oh, hello. Sorry.
If I brought you up for AMA questions, just hang tight. Let leadership talk about it real quick. Once we get our points out there, then we'll start the AMA. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, Mark. Go ahead, man.
Hey, just wanted to throw this out real quick. I guess Matt's space is crashed. We're all still in here right now. Can you guys follow me? If something goes wrong and
Sorry, guys. Space crash. We're gonna let some people pop back in here for a second, and we'll get going. My bad.
Sorry about that, guys. Gotta love spaces, right? I think it'd be easy to just transfer to the co-host position. I don't know how they built that back end, but all right. We're getting more people rolling up in here. What's up, my lord? I know you're back here now.
We did have 100 people in here. Let's see if we can just wait a sec, try and get like at least 50 maybe. I just don't want people missing out on it.
No, you're right. My fault. I'm just excited. Just got some good news.
Definitely let a few people get in here to hear it. If you could, guys, I know I asked you to do this last time, but those tweets are now invalid due to spaces. If you could retweet the space out, I would appreciate it.
I'll just talk about stuff that's not pressing information just in the meantime. A lot of really cool stuff coming next year after the new year. Not a bunch of stuff I'm going to be disclosing now, but we're really taking a look into how to evolve the protocol we have for in a lot of different ways, including not only utility but leveraging of several other parts of DeFi and bringing it all together in a really cool way. So I'm really excited to talk more about it, but I've been really excited about it lately. A lot of really cool stuff is coming out of the pipeline. So just stay tuned for that. More information will definitely come soon. But I hope everyone takes a break over this Christmas. Spend time with your families, your friends. I'm gonna try to. I don't know how well I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna try to not look at my computer during Christmas. As I think it'd be healthy. So I guess that's my advice there. All right. So I think we're seeing some people back in here now. We can bring it back to what we came here for. My lord, take it away.
Hey everyone, ladies and gentlemen, this next update is now pushed. So feel free to go to app.xsurge.net. And we definitely worked quite hard on this next part. There's a lot of UI tweaks, a lot of kind of features that we packed in there. We tried to make some parts very easy, but also just basically for full transparency and whatnot, we did get a little bit carried away here. Our original estimate was that we were going to basically push a new update in 2 weeks since we released V2. However, as things got going, we just started really kind of diving headfirst into this, and we did I think 2 or 3 optimization moves. Then we basically our goal was to get the farm tab working, but then we end up basically revamping the entire swap page and the monitor page and the whole UI aspect. So now basically it's there, and from this part forward, we're actually going to be having a meeting after the spaces or I don't know, tomorrow or something, and basically just doing a retro and understanding our entire process. And we're really going to try to adopt a proper software development lifecycle so that we can push smaller, more consistent updates. So the next one we're actually going to be, now that we basically did this actually pretty sizable push, we're going to be taking a step back and trying to solidify some stuff. There are some known bugs, or at least some known issues that are at first going to be a little bit of an annoyance. Like, for example, with the right now we don't auto update the stuff. so we included a refresh button so that the data can be refreshed and you guys can see some things. But if you click on one of the buttons on the farm page, it is possible that you will have to go and essentially reload that component by switching from like the farm page to the swap page and then back again for it to fully reload. That is something that we aim to fix in the next version, or not in the next version, in the next update, hopefully in like a week after the New Year's. And then a bunch of other like optimization type stuff. So we plan on getting the data to load a little bit faster. Some of the we imagine that we'll be getting bug reports as with every update of any software out there. So we plan on basically fixing that and making sure that we have a nice foundation, because remember, this is basically the beginning of this dAPP. We're starting off with this kind of simple interface, but as we go forward, we will be adding more and more features with the eventual goal to turn this into a full-fledged trading software. So much so that is even tailored to institutional investors. So this literally it's just the beginning, and yeah, it's going to be a wild ride, guys. So stay on.
No, yeah, no, you hit that perfect, Lord. There are a few annoyances, definitely, like he mentioned. One of the most annoying ones is and the farm tab specifically. What wants to be annoying when it comes to reflecting the data that's changed. There's a lot of data that's being pulled from the blockchain every single time. So before we had it just pulling it every like 10, 15 seconds, that also wasn't doing a great job. It was making things act really weird, not like things were like reloading weird and like choosing other options for you. And it was just downloading, a lot of data like every few seconds, just like constantly streaming in. That we really needed more time to break that down and figure out optimal ways to fetch it at different points in time. That we didn't want to push this back any longer. So that refresh button at the top will definitely help recall all of those fields for you. So if you make a swap, wait a few seconds, click that refresh button, and the balances that show up in the swap page should update for you. But that is something we're actively going to fix and are looking into solutions to. Mostly little things like that. Pretty much just we got the framework here building, and it's a really good structure. It has a really good foundation right now. We just have to like the next few weeks, as Malort said, really buff that out, get it working perfect as it is before we continuously build and add new things on top of it. Before we add any new features, we're going to make sure that what the current version right now is solid as a rock. And it's definitely not perfect now, but bear with us. And after holiday seasons are over, we're going to get right back into fixing all of that. I think you guys will still like what you see there now. I personally like it a million times better than the old version. I think it's a lot cleaner, and once you get the hang of the swap page, it's a lot more intuitive. Okay, yeah. Before we get into the yield farming stuff, I'll get into that later. I kind of want to hear from people. So, DeFi Crypto and Jeff, you guys have had your hands up. If you guys want to duke it out, whoever wants to go first.
Crypto was first. Real quick before they go, I would ask everybody to check the top of the space. We got an excerpt tweet out about the V2, which we're hype about.
All right, DeFi.
All right. Hey, so first of all, I wanted to say I was lucky as a user, not a developer, to get to test this out and help give you guys feedback on it. And let me say, once people get into it, they're going to see how awesome it is. It is really, really good. And the thing about this ecosystem is, as you're going through it, you realize that it is set up for day traders and it's set up to benefit holders with the yield farming and just holding some of the assets. Because as people day trade these cryptos, every trade has a little transaction tax that goes back to the contract, and it steadily rises the price of all the contracts. So that volatility through all these liquidity pools is huge. So, it's ingenious to set up. And me, as someone who doesn't always have time to day trade, I can just put my money in some of the yield farms and be good. I did want to say, as a user who got to test it, if you are confused by, all these things, and you want a yield farm, just use BNB and go into the yield farm. It's the easiest way. It splits up your money, and it does, a pretty easy job getting you into the yield farm, and you'll be able to show that. If you have the two underlying assets, I went through and tested all the yield farms with the two underlying assets. You're required, and if you've ever done this on Pancake Swap with some of their yield farming, they have yield farming available. That's it's similar in that you have to enable the token trades. You have to trade your tokens for an LP token, and then you have to enable the farm and farm those LP tokens. So there's a few transactions to get there, but if you guys need any help, if you come into Discord or Telegram, and I'm sure there'll be some educational stuff. But if you just want something easy to get in the farm as soon as possible, just use BNB and get in the farm. It's pretty easy. But I just wanted to say I was pretty impressed. I put a decent amount of money in the system, and just there's so many opportunities with Vault reflecting in these tokens in their new one, and you can also set your Earn Hub AnyFlect, which I'm doing. I'm just accumulating XUSD right now, and then as the system goes up, it's like you can easily trade those. Let's say Bitcoin goes down 20% tomorrow, which it tends to do, right? It goes up, it goes down. I can take those XUSD, I can easily swap those for some Bitcoin, and I can get a great price on them. So, I mean, this literally has the ability to use the market and say, all right, Ethereum's down a lot today. I got this XUSD that's always going up. It didn't take the price impact today, and I can get a lot of Ethereum if I switch it over to Surge Ethereum. So there's a lot of opportunities to balance your portfolios and stuff like that. I think the combination of Vault and Surge is really gonna, make trading this more like getting on Schwab and actually balancing out a portfolio in stocks or something like that. You'll be able to use this immediately for the ones they have, but I think in the future it'll be really good. So, I'd like to, I watch these guys work. I'd like to say I appreciate the work they did. I have a lot of money in, and I appreciate being part of this project. So if you guys go in there, check it out. If you have any questions, ask your questions. But I think once you guys get into that dAPP, you're going to be pretty impressed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, DeFi. Yeah, that was amazing. As long as you're patient, you'll have a great time. Or you're used to reloading it. If you are impatient, just reload that thing. It's fine. It'll remember your last session if it hasn't been too long. So you can just reload it, click that connect button, and hop right back into it. But yeah, that's if you're impatient and you can't wait for things to load. So, and I've noticed some people, it is a process you're gonna have to just quickly bear with us for until we get all that fetching stuff figured out perfectly, which I know we will. Just to throw it out there, the biggest deterrence behind all of it is it'll refetch the data, but not before the function actually executes, like the contract call. So it'll just refetch the same data, and we just have to get a much better system in place to wait for the contract to execute and finalize before refetching that data. So once that's all good, that's the reason why you have to click that little button, but it'll be an easy fix. I don't know why I brought that up again. It's just that one thing, that one thing that's making it a little bit far from perfect. Because besides that, man, I am in love with this app. Compared to the last one, I've been using this one constantly, and I rarely ever use the last one. It's an entirely different application. It started with, okay, let's build out this yield farm page, to, okay, let's update the swap page. And it's like, oh, all three pages look entirely different. Let's just refactor the whole thing. So that's why it took months, or a month, a month longer. I don't know if it's an entire month longer, but so it's a period of time until we got this thing really dialed in and figured out. But hell yeah, guys, thank you. Let us know what you think. If anyone has any questions, feel free to come up. This is the best time. Jeff, sorry, you can definitely talk now. I forgot.
Well, I would say, first of all, it all sounds really awesome. But as we all know, like I would usually call myself an R word, but I'll refrain. I don't know what word we're using, but I'm not intelligent. And so when I pulled up the application to check it out, and I click connect, and I don't know, is it not working on Safari?
Safari should. Are you on a iOS or a MacBook?
Yeah, I'm on iOS on an iPhone, and when I click connect, nothing happens. One of my clicks, I got it to actually pop up the little trust window or the trust wallet and connect with trust wallet, but I don't see anywhere where I choose the network and it says I'm not connected to Ethereum. But it, like I said, it all sounds really awesome. I want to try it out, but I don't know if I'm just not smart.
Are you so are you connecting through a laptop computer or a phone? And are you connecting directly through the browser or within the app?
So yeah, so opening Safari. Well, I tried multiple browsers, but Safari is the most recent one on iOS. And then clicking Connect Wallet, and then Trust Wallet, and then it says it's not asking me for like the network like it normally would. And
You're
it's
gonna
just
want to click Wallet Connect,
Oh.
unless you're in the dAPP browser itself. Like, so if you're in the Trust Wallet browser or the MetaMask browser, then you would click one of those. But if you're in an external browser, not a Web3 one, you would need to click Wallet Connect and then connect to the wallet.
cool, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. I just tried it out too. It does work on iOS, thankfully. That was one of the
it's
biggest
working
things
for
we
me.
were
I did
struggling
it right
with.
as you said it.
That was one of the biggest things we were struggling with earlier, was getting it on iOS Safari. So you had me worried for a second there, but I did just try it out, and it does work, thankfully. But yeah, Wallet Connect's the way to go.
I think we had Jeremy up here next.
I tried to connect with the last version of the dAPP to my SafePal, and I did that yesterday and today, but it wouldn't work on Safari or inside the SafePal app, like the dAPP's browser. Will this new version 2 work for SafePal?
It will,
Absolutely.
yes.
We have it built in too. It's actually an option. There's
Okay,
a lot of.
I can go to. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the SafePal community is strong, and they really like that wallet. So we got a lot of requests to add SafePal in. So we made sure to give it its own spot.
And
Okay.
I have been using it currently, so I know that it works. The only issue I ran into was it was pulling the Ethereum network for the dAPP, and it wasn't connecting, so I had to swap it to BSC. So just make sure you're doing that, and it should work.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Look at you guys flexing these annual returns in here. This is awesome.
It's based on historic data to this point. So it's not financial advice. You'll see those move every few seconds. Actually, you'll see them update if any crypto sizably moves. Right now, they're kind of we're still beefing out the equation. I don't want to say it like this, but they're technically a little on the low side, just based on how it works. We have to more get an average of the size of the pool over time to really get that APR APY exact. So low balling it's definitely better than high balling it in terms of a like ethical side of things. But yeah, just so everyone's aware, it's based on entirely historic data. Our yield farms don't behave like others, where you can mint tokens. So other people's yield farms, they just mint you extra tokens or reserve tokens and give them to you, and they can control the rate at which they give them to you. Ours is entirely based on volume of the two tokens in the farm. So it's definitely it's not a fixed rate of any kind. It definitely fluctuates. Just wanted to put that disclaimer in there. So I definitely check it out a little bit. Check it out over time.
Hey, QR, I see you're up here. You got a question, bud?
What's up, guys? About the dAPP, the Wallet Connect issue that somebody just brought up. You need to click on the wallet. Like if you press on the wording, like connect wallet, it doesn't do anything. So you need to like press on the wallet icon, and then it will connect. Uh, I had issues with it also, but I wanted to ask about the farm, the farm view. I understand that there's a V1 farm for XUSD and BNB, and a V2. Can you switch within the dApp to the V2, or how does that work?
Yes. So if you open up the BNB XUSD farm, if you have the old farm tokens in your wallet, there's going to be a little button at the top called, I think it's migrate to V2 or upgrade to V2. And it'll be if you click on the BNB farm and expand that window, you'll see that option appear at the very top. Only if you are on a wallet that has the old farm tokens. So if you don't own the old farm tokens, there won't be an upgrade option. But if it detects those in your wallet, you'll have that option. It's going to pull up a little window that's going to say, basically just tell you what's going on. You're going to click an unlock button, and that's going to return to you LP tokens. You're then going to take those LP tokens and approve them and lock them in the farm in the bottom left-hand corner of the farm window. Or if you're on mobile, it's actually just the bottom screen, I'm pretty sure, or the second to bottom screen. It's called stake LP tokens, or farm using LP tokens. It's pretty self-explanatory if you read the instructions on that little pop-up page. But yeah, so how to get there is you go to the farm section, you click on XUSD BNB's farm, and then you would click the upgrade to V2 button at the very top.
Yeah, I just found it. Thank you, and yeah, the V2 dApp looks great. So I'm looking forward to everything.
Hell yeah, man! Put a lot of time and energy into this. I'm excited to write some contracts again. I've been saying that lately. We spent a lot of time really nailing this out and making this perfect. So now I'm going to be able to put the Solidity boots back on to do some of these other really exciting things that are coming out soon that I'm not going to speak on now. But
you think you'll do a V2 SafeMoon wrapped Surge?
That's gonna. I guarantee that's probably going to be the first factory token made. I can almost guarantee it, and that would be really cool. And the main thing about it that I've been saying is it will be a cool concept if people can get around the fees, because it would just inherit SafeMoon's 10% fee. Otherwise, it would just add into it, which is good for SafeMoon. But it would be really cool if they were to work with us and kind of like give us a fee reduction with their tiered tax services for a Surge SafeMoon, considering it would only benefit SafeMoon and its holders. But I don't think that's going to happen. If that did happen, that would be amazing. And maybe if enough people are really passionate about this, because it would gain reflections like everyone else, raising its price for everyone at the same time. So it would be a very interesting project. And if it had a reduced transfer fee, if it had a farm with XUSD, you could then buy and sell SafeMoon for a much cheaper rate than 10%, because the transfer fee of the Surge token might be 2%. And then you could buy and sell SafeMoon for 2.25% using XUSD. And that's one of the beautiful things that you see with the useless coin. So Surge useless on this platform, you can buy and sell it for 4.25%, which is half of its 8% normal fee. So it's kind of weird. You can buy a Surge wrap token of it cheaper than the real token. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And that's an effect that would happen if you did Surge wrap SafeMoon. So that's the only like selling point for me, unless they were able to work with us in a way for some fee reduction, so that there wasn't a 10% tax stamped on to every buy and sell.
I did just use the new dAPP to swap some Surge ADA to XUSD, and it worked flawlessly. So I'm hyped.
Wow, I couldn't get you to open it once during testing, but I'm glad you finally did it, and you got it done, Matt. That's good. Glad it worked for you.
It's because I came in here and with some FUD not being able to, because I'm too dumb to make it work. And he was like, "Well, if I'm going to prove Jeff. If Jeff can't do it and I can do it." But no, honestly, like really impressed by the quality of the app. Millard, you mentioned or my lord, you mentioned that there was some trying to speed it up. Is it a client side app?
Yes. So this is an actual decentralized application. We're not storing any information on the back end. There's no, we're not storing any data really. The only stuff that we do have a database for is the surge tokens themselves, and that's so that we can easily pull the information regarding the address and the ABI and stuff like that. But everything else is loaded client side. When doing the farm calculations and the token calculations, that is also being loaded on client side too. So whenever you hit the refresh button, it's actually going to the blockchain and fetching all of those values fresh. It's
Awesome. Yeah, sounds like it's gonna be super scalable.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. The goal is to get it set up to where when the factory comes out, it'll be very, very easy to add new tokens to this platform in both the yield farm and the swap page, etc. Swap page soon will have more of a scrollable feature to it, not as much as just a big list, but there weren't too many tokens on it right now. So
you mentioned getting it to basically be like a trading desk, like a professional trading desk. Is there plans to work closely with Useless to be able to facilitate some of the charting and graphing to manage that, or is that something you guys are building yourselves?
Yeah, so charting is actually on our docket. We one of the biggest things, especially that I've been talking about a lot, is regarding that charting aspect, because we don't simply want you to be able to just see what's going on. We want to be able to truly represent a surge token as well as its underlying asset on nicely on the graph. We're trying to figure out a good way of doing that, but also eventually give you guys a way, especially for you, for the people that are more into technical indicators, to essentially add and even create your own technical indicators. Because we really, like we said earlier, we want this to eventually be tailored to day traders, because the surge ecosystem itself, it's like trading with training wheels on. it's like trading on easy mode, because the surged aspect itself just benefits you. So even if you're not actively trading, you're still benefiting from the entire ecosystem itself. So I can really see.
Lord.
I think he cut out there.
Yeah, he's been having some connection issues. We'll bring him back up as a speaker if he drops down. Yep, here he is.
So it sounds like y'all are going to build it all in house.
Yeah, Malord has definitely some high visions for the chart. He showed me a little bit of what he wants to build, and it's pretty incredible in size and scope. Definitely, it's on the to-do list, and we'd probably start with the more V1 basic chart and iterate on it, especially as the DEX is being built out, because having a chart in a DEX is definitely a very important thing. And I hate the notion of what PooCoin does and what they do is there's only a few backing assets. You can chart the ratio of anything, so there's no reason to not show a chart for a pair of any two assets that are in a liquidity pool. And so if we were to build this sort of charting application for a DEX, that's exactly what we'd have. Any pairing whatsoever. It's so easy. It's not like the math's any different. You just have to know the value of the tokens to actually put that to actually label that y-axis. But besides that, it's just the ratio of the coins. So we can graph everything.
So do y'all have any plans to I mean, obviously XUSD is taking the world by storm right now. It's like I've said quite a few times, and I've been pretty explicit. I don't hold any XUSD. I don't hold any projects personally, because I'm trying to not have a conflict of interest. So I say this wholeheartedly. I think it's the most powerful project that's happening right now. I think it's going to take over the world. But I'm curious, what's your plans to be able to move outside of Binance? Do you plan on getting this on other chains and other networks, and how could they all work together if you do? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So this is one of the main things that, well, it's not one of it gets into one of the main things that I'm not gonna reveal right away. One of the big picture things that we're creating. I've taken some advice from you capitalists. There's a lot of people that like to copy me, so definitely keeping some of the big ideas we've been having close. But part of one of these ideas 100% involves listing on all the different chains, at least all the major ones. Obviously, there's hundreds and thousands of blockchains, but you know what I mean, like Kronos, EVM chains, Kronos, Ethereum, even Matic, you know, ones like those. As long as it fits and there's enough tokens on those platforms to really benefit from the arbitrage and the volume to really build a home for it, we're most likely going to put a token on it. And in terms of how they would interact together, that's something we've been talking about for a while. So the original notion was that you would have one XUSD and it would pair and like peg off and you'd have different branched versions to different chains. But those other chains' XUSD version wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be 100% redeemable because it wouldn't have those coins inside the asset. It wouldn't have those stable coins. It would algorithmically hold, but it wouldn't be the same thing. And it would be confusing too, especially if you try to build this kind of interoperability on a different chain. The speed of one chain would be slowed down by another. There would be a bunch of conflicts and weird functionality. At least when we were doing the math. So what I'm leaning towards now is if we do go on other chains, we would build a very good system of migrating chains using XUSD. But the specific prices of XUSD on different chains don't necessarily need to be equal, because at the end of the day, if you're swapping from BSC XUSD to ETH XUSD, you're going to get the same US dollar value back at the end, regardless of what the price of the coin is. So this is something I've talked about a lot. The price of Surge doesn't slow down its growth, not at all. That's one thing that a lot of people get confused on. They're like, so the main thing I want to point home right now is the two things that determine the growth rate of Surge is volume, total volume, so the fees from volume, divided by the market cap, the total amount of backing assets inside the contract. That's what determines it. So if XUSD is $1 or $1 million, and we have the same market cap and volume as we do right now, we would have the same exact ROI. That's just how it works. So in terms of swapping to other chains, if you're swapping 10 XUSD for 11.5 XUSD, it doesn't matter if you get the same US dollar value back after. That's what you're looking for when you go on other chains. You're not looking for the exact same number of XUSD. And what that opens up the door to is say you think there's going to be a lot more volume and activity on ETH's XUSD. You could one-for-one trade over there, and maybe they have a smaller market cap, which it would or wouldn't, probably wouldn't, honestly, because it's ETH. But it just hypothetically, if you think it's going to have a lot of volume and has a smaller market cap, you could transfer over to that chain to try to reap the benefits of that. So it opens up the door to a lot more interoperability with XUSD. Around the time that we would launch on other chains, there would be some other changes happening to the Surge ecosystem that we're going to be coming into later. Basically, an expansion on the original idea in a very cool way that I can't get into now, but you're all going to love it because it's going to make sense right away. I don't know why. I always say this though whenever I think of something cool. It's like, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but you'll all see what I mean. We're going to factor in all corners of DeFi in a really, really cool way. And yeah, I'm going to stop it there. I always say too much.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Like my concern is that I feel like XUSD is just getting the recognition that it's starting, it actually deserves, and it's really just starting to an inflection point in terms of user adoption. And I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be some copycat going and stealing this and rolling it out across other networks just because they have more money. Because the idea of this is just, it's too powerful. So I'm excited to hear that you're gonna expand that out, and
yeah, I almost
this
so this is kind of weird, and I said this earlier, and someone's like, "Wait, you don't want that?" I almost want someone to copy it right now, just because they don't know where we're going with it. And when they find out what this thing we're rolling out is in February, they're either going to have to stop what they're doing and just copy that, or just keep rolling with what they copied already. So I can't go into too much detail, but let the copycats come right now, because we're 7 steps ahead. Yeah, that's all I'll say. It was funny. That was a conversation I think Matt and I had yesterday. I was like, I want them to copy me right now. They would they'll still be behind. They'll still be catching up. Like I know Surge so well at this point. Whoever's trying to rip it off, copy it, regardless of how much money they have, they're just going to be playing catch up the whole time. And as long as I learn to not show my cards all the time, they'll have a harder time playing catch up. So that's how it goes, and that's why I haven't been like screaming my plans from the rooftops as frequently. But I feel like it's a better play overall. All right, so we can definitely bring some other people up.
We have a few people up here now. If you guys want to throw your hands up, or if you can't do that on your device, just go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, I think Useless as Mina was next.
Yeah, I'll ask real quick. I just have more noobish questions, as I am not Mark, who is, crazy smart and stuff. So when it comes to the liquidity on, like, I'm just looking at the dAPP right now, and I want to essentially stake my, what was I going to do? I was going to do my useless, because I'm useless meta. I was going to do my useless on there. So basically, when you go on there, you just go to the liquidity, and then you do however much I want to do, and then pair it, and that's pretty much all you have to do for the farming. Is all you have to really do?
So you'll notice if you go to the farm section, if you click it, there's the two. So are you on mobile or desktop? Sorry, just to.
I'm on currently desktop.
Okay, so the bottom 2 options on the farm that come up when you click the farm tab are buy with BNB or farm using LP tokens. When you pair liquidity in that liquidity section, you get back the LP tokens from like PancakeSwap. So you actually have to go in and farm those. So you have to first approve the farm to move them, and that's only something you have to do once. So if you pair liquidity again, you won't have to do this. So you approve them of the farm, and then you can actually there's a button that's called stake LP and farm, and you click that, and it'll actually move the LP tokens into the farm, lock them, and mint you back the farm tokens. So once you click that stake with LP button after you approved them, I would just go ahead and refresh that app after a few seconds, and you should see that the farm pops up on your deposited farms list.
Sweet. That sounds stupid easy. I will make this happen.
The second option, which is a fan favorite from a lot of people in Surge, is you can always yeet BNB into the farm and get farm tokens that way. It will split the payment in half by Surge useless with half of it, XUSD with the other half, pair them into liquidity, and lock that liquidity pool tokens and mint you farm tokens all in one transaction. And so that's done with the buy with BNB button.
Sweet. Thank you, man. I appreciate the answer on that.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And so when you're in a farm, it will come up on your monitor page as well. So you'll be able to see how much those farm tokens are worth and how many current rewards you have. And after you are enrolled in a farm, if you do click on the farm button again, you will see a bunch more options come up, including an unstake option and a box that shows you your rewards, your current rewards, and the total amount you've claimed so far. So you can track it pretty easily. But yeah, glad to see you on. So the Useless one is actually has a decent amount of liquidity in it, and I know the Useless guys themselves paired some into the farm, which is great because XUSD its job as an underlying asset is really just starting to take off. So hopefully it gives some helps give some positive pressure that way, and to everyone that makes a pool with it.
Hey guys, I'm actually going to have to head out, but yeah, let's keep this rolling. I really appreciate everybody coming in here. I just got some Christmas dinner with my in-laws. I got to work tomorrow, so today's my Christmas day. But Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy Holidays.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Blue. Have a good one, man. Yeah, we're gonna stay in here. Blue's gonna head out. We're good to keep taking questions if anyone else has one.
I got a pretty serious one. How come you unfollowed me on Twitter?
I don't think I did.
I hate you. And
I don't. I comment
Blue
on
unfollowed me too. All of a sudden, I show my face.
I comment on so many of your posts. I don't know how I would have unfollowed you.
It's because I showed my picture. You're like, damn, he's uglier than I thought he was gonna be.
I've seen you before, Jeff. You knew that. All right, what's up, Mihail?
Mihai, yes, good
Mihai,
evening.
Sorry, I saw an L there.
Yeah, I'm the one lost the tokens, but now I found them, and I saw I have some X surge and X useless. So if I don't want to provide liquidity, I just leave it there, and I'm fine for now. I don't have any BNB in there to pair because I gotta pair them with BNB since I don't have any BNB and X surge, right?
So if you're not trying, you don't need to provide liquidity in the farms if you don't want to. You can hold your surge useless or whichever ones you want as well. That's always an option.
Okay, and I was hacking Shiba Swap and I delete that wallet, and I moved between the wallets. So I have like 2 coins of your coins in here. I have three other coins in the Trust wallet, and I see one surge, and I don't know what's that. Is that yours? Because it doesn't say. It just says surge back 20. That's it on my Trust wallet.
That's not Surge BEP20 isn't the name of any of our current tokens.
No, it is BEP20, but it just says search. That's it. It doesn't show any price, nothing. I know when it's not on coinmarket.com, on Trust Wallet, it's not going to show the value. But I have no idea if this is your coin, just search. That's all it says on Trust Wallet.
It might have been the old first version of Surge that came out back in August, but that one's no longer in circulation in the Surge ecosystem. The only ones that are technically created by us so far are Surge Bitcoin, Surge USD, Surge Ethereum, Surge ADA, Surge Useless, and XUSD.
Okay, so basically those coins are just deleted from the wallet. I don't know.
They're not deleted. They would just still be in that wallet.
No. Should I just delete it? Just forget about that because that's what I was so confused. You guys had so many Eat Vault, Save Vault, Surge, Xer. So I wasn't sure and I kind of figured out all of this was, part of your team, the coins. So that one I just can't forget about. There's nothing I can do with that. With the Surge that I have in Trust Wallet.
Yes, I would say so. Unless it's a different one, but I would think that's unlikely. Oh hey, sorry. I guess my Lord got kicked off. I'm gonna bring him up here again. Connection's not holding up much.
So for now, I don't have to do nothing with Save Vault and Eat Vault, right?
No. That's a completely different project.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. No worries, man. All right. Real Talk Crypto. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's good. I'm just finding out this project today. I'm so happy, but it's kind of I wish I find it very early before. So I'm making some research. I just watched some video on YouTube and think it's great project. So I wish I find it just on time.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, we're still early. We're
still super early.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at XUSD, we're only at like 600 holders, man. We welcome you to the family.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you like the project. It's really there's really nothing like it in the DeFi space at all. completely community owned, like zero anything fishy. Pretty much one of the most decentralized projects around, at least that I know of. So I welcome you here, and if you love DeFi and you like fair developers and zero developer control and stable, predictable outcomes from your assets, then you're gonna love it here, man.
Okay, I have a couple questions. So as you are holding those tokens, are they gonna increase just like other ones are increasing?
So it depends on what you mean by increase and what you value
I mean,
currency.
like the value, like let me say, some token they move, they give some value.
Yes. So
Then
for
Bitcoins move.
yeah, so for the so for every surge token like XUSD, like the one in the video, those
Yeah.
ones will rise in value in US dollars on every transaction. The other surge coins though, like Surge Bitcoin, that one will rise in Bitcoin on every transaction. So depending on what it's pegged to, what it's wrapping, that's the value that it will gain when it's moved. So when Surge Bitcoin's moved, the amount of Bitcoin that each Surge token's worth goes up. And when Surge USD, XUSD is moved, each XUSD coin's value in US dollars goes up.
Okay. That's
So yeah,
great.
so it does depend. So it's important to make the distinction though, because if Bitcoin were to go down, then the price in US dollars of Surge Bitcoin would go down, but the price of XUSD in US dollars will never go down when valued internally in terms of what you can redeem from the contract itself, what you can sell it for. That will never go down in US dollars. It's all based on the whole Surge protocol is more like a wrapping mechanism. We just wrap around another token and give that token special properties. And one of these properties is this inflationary price attribute and action that you see.
Yeah, one important distinction to note is that surge tokens are relative. They're relative to whatever they're associated with. So Surge BTC, it's relative to Bitcoin. Surge USD, relative to USD. ETH, etc., blah blah blah. And especially later on when the factories come out, and you can basically create surge tokens for any token out there. It's going to be relative to that asset. And that's the mechanism that we're talking about when we say always goes up. We're talking about that relative to the asset itself, it goes up. Which means that, for example, if there is going to be a surge SafeMoon, and for some reason SafeMoon's price does continue to go down, then in US dollars it might go, like it will go down, but not as extreme because it's relative to SafeMoon and going up from that point. So it's a nice way to actually hedge against whatever you're holding. So like if you want to invest in Bitcoin, for example, if you held regular Bitcoin and you held Surge Bitcoin, on price increases, you'll actually earn more Bitcoin than holding it regularly. And if Bitcoin drops, you'll actually lose less than the others. So it's actually that's one of the things that makes Surge kind of really nice. You can use it to hedge. So but remember, it's relative, and that's a very, very important distinction to make.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, the only real risk is the initial buy-in tax, and then you gotta but everything has volume that you can look at the simple math on volume in any given period of time and estimate how long until you make back that tax fee, right? But once you've made back that tax fee, it's like essentially gravy from there. It's ever increasing in value, and so long as it's outpacing inflation, it'll continue to be highly lucrative for people. So it's really interesting. Hey, I was curious with respect to this project, Mark, because I've asked you this 100 times. Like, how are you gonna continue to fund the team and fund this project with such low taxes? Like, what's your plan to be able to continue to sustain this and sustain this level of innovation and keep it interesting for yourself?
Well, in terms of, like you said, the taxes and the development taxes, that they are extremely low. So in terms of at this current volume, sustaining it off of that isn't too feasible. As we were to grow in size and scale, it would become a lot easier to sustain off of even a very low tax if volume was really to reach crazy heights. But for now, the main thing we're going for is really what Surge is built from, is a community push. And even though we develop things for it, we don't have any special control over the other tokens that that anyone else couldn't do. Anyone could create these utilities and stuff. So even though we're the developers for it, it's not necessarily like our coin that we're trying to sell to people. It's more just an idea and this mechanism that we're trying to elaborate on and create utilities for that help people in many different ways. And so what we've seen so far with not only our developers but people in leadership, people in our shilling teams, as newly formed shilling teams, they're all volunteers. They're all people in the community that not only hold Surge products and assets, but they believe in the vision and they want to be part of what they believe is a radical change in the DeFi space. And over time, we've just been getting more and more people sharing this vision with us and sharing our goals. So we've had to put forth not much. It's been a minimal amount of what we've had to do to sustain it up to this point. And of course, as you grow, so does that cost exponentially. But as long as we keep continuing on this trend, I believe that with the community we're building and the people that who are really waking up to what we have here with XUSD, with Surge Bitcoin, with all of these, I think we're going to get there just from a community push. But definitely over time, as stuff gets going, maybe fundraisers, stuff like that, there's definitely going to be a lot of things we need to do in terms of centralized exchanges. But the beauty of DeFi is all the major directions we're going in doesn't need much funding. When you go into the centralized world and you're like, oh, we got to pay $50,000 to get on this exchange, we got to pay this to do this and this to do that, things get very, very expensive. But when you keep it all in DeFi and you have a set of developers that really understand DeFi, you can build anything. And it's all just whipping up a Web3 interface to interact with these contracts, and you have everything. So we're really pushing until funding is readily available. We're just going to keep on, and even when it is, we're going to just keep on pushing out these decentralized masterpieces. I'm biased, I'll say that, but I really think there's something special. Some of these things, we're going to just keep pushing these things out and seeing what we can create and seeing what we can change. And XUSD's changed a lot as it is, and it's not done yet. Not by a long shot. There's so many things we can do with this type of logic and functionality that we haven't even began to expand on yet, publicly at least, that I'm so excited to unveil soon. So
I know you have relationships with tons of great projects. I'd love to see some of these other projects like create an incentive to be able to reduce their taxes to get people to go to XUSD, because it really is the best holding and it's in the benefit of projects to be able to create lucrative exit plans. And I think that one of the things that's happening in this entire space is just like it's all become kind of disjointed, but like we're seeing a good group of different people creating really awesome projects that really could be working together to help lift everybody up. And I'm not in a position to help at this moment, but if I ever am, I definitely want to be able to help your cause. And I'm excited about what you're doing, and I truly do think that this is the investment that is a once in a millennia type opportunity for people. And like I said, I'm trying to stay as unbiased as possible because it's not fair given the project that I'm working on. But I will say that, like, if I had $100,000 liquid and I had to put it somewhere right this moment, this looks to be the best opportunity that I see because I'm, I would rather take a conservative approach and know that I'm going to incrementally increase it over time than go YOLO into some project that's going to, that could moon or go to nothing. And I'm also at a stage in my life where it's a little bit more about cash preservation. So I'm really excited about this. I want the rest of the world to be educated, and I think having a diversified portfolio of riskier investments and offloading into this when you're trying to decide what you want to do as your next YOLO move makes the most sense to me. So yeah, thank you again for the innovation.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks, Jeff. And you actually reminded me of a very good point, and that is as we continue to expand out into other communities as well. So when we when we really open up the door and release the code, and it's not going to be the code that you've seen now, it's going to have some really really dynamic and interesting abilities to work with other projects directly. And when you see this factory come out with that's going to allow a project to custom tailor a surge token to their ecosystem perfectly, I expect there to be dozens, hundreds of different surge tokens coming out, wrapping all different kinds of coins. And when that happens, all Surge does is benefit an asset. There is not one operation in Surge that sells its wrapping asset. It buys it and transfers it. It adds volume and it locks up tokens for long-term holders. There's literally no downside to having a Surge wrap version of your token. And pretty soon, your guys going to see with the yield farms and everything, creating tokens through the factory is also going to be very beneficial to it as well in terms of sustaining volume through arbitrage through the different token pools and farms, and allowing your token communities to pair liquidity for you, et cetera, et cetera. So in terms of funding, the factory definitely will help a good amount. But not only that, but once other communities start having Surge tokens for their own coin, it'll get them to talking, it'll get them to see the rest of the options, to learn about the ecosystem. And for there, I see it just being a snowball effect as we move into all different forms of DeFi. Once people really realize what we have here. And I hope that the audit coming out within the next few days on XUSD will also definitely help facilitate a lot more trust and understanding of the protocol itself.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Got a just a couple comments I want to make. I've been talking to people back and forth from the Discord, so if these have already been discussed, I'm sorry. Couple things. I've had a couple people confused, thinking that with this new dAPP release, we'd see the new Surge BNB. That's not the case. It's not out yet. Coming soon, but not available yet. And then the other confusion that I've seen is XUSD is not migrating to any new contract right now. The migration is only going from the XUSD BNB liquidity pool to the farm V1 to farm V2. So if you hold any farm tokens for XUSD BNB, those need to be migrated to V2. Outside of that, if you only hold XUSD, you're good. Nothing's changed there. So
yeah, no, thank you. I didn't realize that those were areas of confusion. Thanks for highlighting that. Yeah, no change to XUSD at all. If you're not a farmer, if you just like to hold and like enjoy the normal XUSD action, there's nothing you guys have to do on your end. If you took place in the yield farm prior, there's no longer a tax on it, or there's not a tax ever. I mean, there's no longer a lockup period, so you can easily move those tokens over to the V2 farm. The V2 farm has a number of upgrades to it, including that in the old version there was a strict 90-day lock tax, which means that you couldn't withdraw your assets, and we didn't like that. We really like everyone to have the ability to access their money if they need to instantly. So in the new farm, there's a 7-day lock period, but this lock period isn't definite. You can withdraw your tokens at any time. If you do withdraw your tokens before the 7-day period is up, there's a 10% fee applied to it as a disincentive. So instead of saying you can't touch your tokens for 3 months, it's saying you can touch your tokens, but if you touch them before a week, you get penalized. If you wait the entire week, there's a 0% fee for unlocking or locking liquidity. So no fees required there. And in the BNB farm and in all the other farms, when you pair liquidity, usually what happens is there's a little bit left over that wasn't paired into liquidity. And what happened in the old farm is that just sat in the contract and collected. But in the V2 farm, it actually gets returned back to your wallet, the little bit of dust that's left over at the end. And additionally, the V2 BNB farm has a really cool feature where you can reinvest your XUSD earnings. So if you have, $100 of XUSD waiting to be claimed, you can click the reinvest button on the farm, and it will sell half of that for BNB and pair those two halves into liquidity, and give you more farm tokens back. So that's a way to continuously compound your position in the farm as well. So all of those changes were really, really nice and necessary to make. The early taxation fee has also actually done a lot of good things for XUSD. Earlier today, from us testing it and other people withdrawing from the new farm for whatever reason, we actually got around 600 XUSD that were bought and burnt as a result of that fee. Because I don't know if I mentioned that, but that 10% fee, that leave early fee, goes to a contract that buys and burns XUSD. It will actually withdraw that liquidity, use the pairing asset to buy XUSD, and then it'll burn that whole sum. So whenever people do paper hand from the farm, XUSD will get a nice